All right, everybody, welcome back. It's time for another daily challenge here on GeoGuessr. Really enjoying this game. Let's get ready to play. Let's see how we do today. Last time we had like 14,000. Wasn't all that great. And this one started off, so I'm recording the voiceover after I played. It started off really bad. I mean, I'm looking at this and there's not a single sign. There's not a car. There's nothing. I tried to travel in one direction. Seemed like I was able to move pretty smoothly, but there's just nothing. I couldn't see fences, walls, buildings, cars, anything. The sun is very much overhead, but again, it doesn't tell you enough to have any good guess. I was thinking I've been in places in Kansas and Texas that look a bit like this. Other places in the world, Australia, I always thought was a bit more red ground, more clay based, and I just wasn't getting anywhere on this. And already a minute in, I decided to just say, it's the only thing I can think of is somewhere in the prairies of Kansas, and turned out to be terribly wrong. So we're definitely, Botswana was never a thought in my head. So we moved on to the second one, looking around, tropical, lush palm trees, Garita Bridge, English words, tuk-tuk there. So I'm thinking, okay, Southeast Asia, very vibrant colors. But, I'm not sure how many countries are using English for signposts. I don't think places like Laos or Thailand or Vietnam would. I think Malaysia is driving on the left side. It's too rural to be Singapore. Indonesia's left side drive, Cobra, a restaurant or bar. So everything I was seeing here was telling me really my only play from what I can see so far would be the Philippines. And I think the area north of Manila is flatter than the area to the south. If I remember correctly, the area to the south is more mountainous. I mean, this bus didn't help me. Didn't know the bus line, of course, so I couldn't make out any words. But my gut was saying Philippines. So I went just north of Manila and gave it a shot, and sure enough, turned out it was a pretty darn good guess, 4,313 points, and I'll get to move on. I'm looking at this sign here going, okay, we have Spanish, Lucho Espinosa. Not sure if that's political or if that's an athlete's name. I couldn't, together for a new city, it says in Spanish. So I'm guessing it's some kind of a political thing, but it looks outdated. The buildings are older. Again, palm trees, so equatorial, subtropical. And then I saw the sign here, Roldosta Santo Ecuatoriano. So I'm thinking it's got to be Ecuador. And again, low on time. I wanted to make sure I got all guesses in, and sure enough, it was pretty darn close. A couple hundred kilometers away, 4,000 points. And moving on to the fourth clue here, and I'm saying, okay, again, tropical. I see palm trees. I see moisture in the grass, so not a dry climate. Some of the houses even look a little bit American to me. And then I saw this dollar sign. I'm like, okay, what do we have here? We have words in Spanish. We have prices in dollars. And then I saw a sign for Coors Light beer, and I'm like, wow, I've seen places like this in Puerto Rico. I was there 2 years ago, and I said, we're going for Puerto Rico, just outside San Juan, because again, it doesn't look urban enough. It's a big enough island, but I'm like, San Juan's a pretty good guess, and turned out to be a great guess. Just 6 miles away, just southwest of San Juan. So last clue, Arabic writing. I tried to figure out, could it be Farsi, could it be Urdu? I know enough Farsi to know it's not Farsi. I tried reading some of the words, and in Urdu, at least some of the words I can make out that match up with Farsi. So now I'm saying, okay, definitely Arabic. And you have such a broad range. I mean, it could be anything from Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Libya, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Syria, Iraq, Lebanon. You know, there are just so many countries. And there was no indication that it was coastal. But then all of those countries I just mentioned have hinterlands where you could be up in the hills somewhere. I think as I went down the street looking for any kind of a clue to see what this could be, I looked through the buildings and was able to see some hills in the distance. Again, lots of signs, very few with English words, and this told me this wasn't in a big city, because in the big cities you see a lot more English on the signs all across the Middle East, especially in some countries where, I mean, you look at in Dubai, I think everything's in both languages. But again, this is clearly not of the wealth of Dubai. It's not city, it's small town, orphans fund. Again, doesn't tell me enough. There is a flag up there, but the flags, you know, red, white, green, they don't tell you enough if you don't see them unfurled, because so many of the countries in that region have flags with the same three colors, but they have different stars or triangular pattern with stars or no stars. So that wasn't enough to give me what I needed to make an educated guess. So still dealing with, you know, several thousand miles west to east where this could be. So I just kept looking at signs, hoping to find something, anything. You know, the brands, I couldn't find any brands. I wouldn't know many brands anyway. Again, in the distance, the hills, but then I saw the word mail up here on the left, and I was able to see Jordan Post. So I was really out of time. I'm down to what, 7 seconds, 6. Yeah, and I said I got to click on Jordan. It's got to be Jordan, you know. And with 1 second to spare, 4,744 points. So about 48 miles away. Brought me to a total of 18,018 points, which I thought was really awesome. If it wasn't for that first real goof up, thinking it was Kansas or North Texas, and it ended up being Botswana. But hey, I've got no way of knowing what Botswana would look like, really. I've never been there. I've been to Tanzania, did climb Kilimanjaro, but again, this clue that they gave us, the street view in today's daily challenge, just was not going to get it done. So that first one was just so bad, 0 points, and then it got better. I mean, I was well over 4,000 per 4,500 per guess for rounds 2 through 5. So felt really good about the rest of the game. I'm in Austria right now, so I checked the leaderboard to see what that was worth. Yeah, guys with 24,950 points. That's insane. Not sure how they do it. I was 7th at this point for the day. Checked back a little later, still in 11th for the day, but all in all, not a bad round. I'd like to see, you know, myself getting consistent results over 20,000. I think that would be cool. And if you can just minimize the big mistakes, I think you can do that. You know, there were some really good results with the Philippines and with Jordan. Ecuador wasn't bad. Puerto Rico, I think, was the best. I think it was the closest of all of them at just 11K or 7 miles. So that was really cool. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.